Okay, so hello out there in Facebook world, social media world. It's Kate White here, the Center for Pre and Perinatal Programs Director and Pre and Perinatal Healing Online. And I'm here with one of our beloved teachers in the Pre and Perinatal Healing Online, Robin Grille. Robin has created the Inner Child Journeys, which he's done for years in the online school, and he decided to put together a very comprehensive course for people to understand his developmental needs map. And I talk about this map a lot with my clients, with my students. I've learned a lot from Robin around this map of understanding that there are very specific developmental needs as children, as we're growing. And his course is called the Seven Rites of Passage, Developmental Healing for Developmental Wounds. And Robin, I'm just wondering if you would like to say a little bit about yourself and this wonderful comprehensive course that people can purchase that's pre-recorded.
I would love to. Thanks, Kate. And first of all, how great it is to see you again. And it's been a little while. And thank you for your invitation to speak. Hello to everybody in social media land. I'm very excited about this course. It was quite an adventure putting it together and recording it for you all with Kate and Brett. And how to begin, what to say about it. We both love, don't we, this developmental map. And why is it that we're so attracted to it? What magnetizes our interest in this developmental map? For me, it gives me so much. It just informs not just my work, but my life, my relationships, and my worldview, my way of understanding, the great movements and changes that happen worldwide that we all get kind of concerned with and that or excited by, right? So that developmental map gives us a really, 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 really useful lens.
Yes.
One of the things that it does, God, there's so much I love about it. First of all, it drills down to where despite the fact of how unique and different we all are, it drills down to that core layer in which we're all essentially the same, insofar as there are these developmental stages that if you have a human body, no matter where you're from, no matter, take your pick of which gender you are or aren't, or everybody, we all go through that. Even that is just I find that as a very moving thing to contemplate on. There is a dance in our development that we all go through.
Yes.
That puts us all together. It gives us a bedrock in which, even though I can't understand you well enough, you can't understand me well enough, there's this layer in which we all understand each other very well because we've been there.
Well, one would hope.
Yeah.
What I love about your map is that I can just tell when I'm with someone now from learning from you, like this need get met. And that's what I love about learning so much about this. So we all have developmental needs for sure. There is a very particular map, those seven rites, those seven rites of passage that you have outlined. But then a lot of us didn't get our needs met. And then, so you provide the information about that and the corrective actions.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify that we all go through those stages, but what's very particular and peculiar about each of our lives is that in various ways there are these fundamental core developmental needs. And if we have those needs met well enough, that gives us a certain strength, a power to relate in the world. That is a necessary building block. And when we don't get those needs met, well enough or at all, that doesn't come free of charge. There isn't.
Yeah.
We survive by adapting to that. It's not that we necessarily don't come through as a beautiful human being, but we survive with these adaptations.
That's true.
And that helps us to understand each other. That's what this brings us, this developmental map. You're filled with a sense of compassion and understanding. For me, it just kind of vaporizes the normal, usual judgments that I get about myself and people. Because the automatic thing that happens is, oh, that's a bad person, that's a mean person, that's a greedy person, that's a selfish person, you know, that person is too much like this, that person is not enough like that, and and me, when I look in the mirror, terrible. That's the automatic, the judgy mind that does that. But taking a look at the developmental map and seeing through that lens of, that's not evil, that's an adaptation
Right.
to, well, that's not, greed isn't greed. Right there, that's permission for us to be punishing of each other. Greed is an adaptation. It doesn't go away by moralizing. That's a kind of it's an adaptive and quite desperate response to some pretty severe losses in the very early stage in these first two or three of these developmental stages.
Yes.
When you don't, it's not this, look, not just understanding it philosophically, because that doesn't get us there enough. When you get it from the inside, that is it's a life-changing aha that revolutionizes how we relate to ourselves and each other,
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the ground. And so it's essentially, I've realized that this is the most powerful forgiveness exercise without having intended it to be that. But
Wow, that's what a beautiful
and
thing.
yeah, you end up compassionate towards the most difficult, bewildering of human behaviors. Doesn't mean you accept it, right?
Right.
It doesn't mean I accept this behavior or that in me or you. What it means is that the way forward is suddenly illuminated very brightly.
Yeah.
If that means that need hasn't been met and you're stuck in, kind of a very old adaptation to that lack, the way forward is having that need met in an adult appropriate way.
Yes.
That's the exciting part of this. Is all a very dynamic part of the course. That
Yes.
first, there's the compassionate side, the forgiveness is a necessary but insufficient step. We can't just keep telling the story. After that, once we gain the compassion, then we need to see, well, what's the way forward transformationally? That's that's a high octane, I think,
Yes.
forward moving part that I find very exhilarating and easy, actually easy and enjoyable. What does that inner child need? Then this is what I need. Okay, well, your body knew that. Your body wasn't talking to your head, but this map helps to interpret. It's like a Rosetta Stone. It helps you to decipher what your
It's
body's
true.
saying. Boom.
Yes.
That's what I need. Make that conscious. And it's a permission giver. It says you can have that. You can't have it in the way that you would have when you were 6 months old. But the theme of that need, you can have that. In fact, you should have that. You're a human. You totally deserve that.
Yeah.
So in addressing those needs enjoyably, creatively,
Yes.
in our present life, it's not that we take it from each other, but there's a way forward that is just really empowering. It really changes the game.
It's true. And for each of the rites of passage, and I'm going to read them out here so people can know what
Okay.
they are. You do a beautiful job of summarizing it and talking about the adaptation patterns that are there. And then you talk about with our developmental, the appropriate, adult appropriate ways to get those and some of the impacts that this particular need, if you didn't get it, might have on culture and society. And so it's just a beautiful package that you've put together here. So I'm just going to read the 7 rights so that people know what they are.
Can we
Uh,
come back and I just put a little bookmark there? You
yeah,
mentioned culture and society. I won't go
yeah,
into it, but I just wanted to say I do want to deliver a couple of words about that because why are we thinking about culture and society? And what does this have to do with that? Well, this is personal and international simultaneously. It's personal, deeply intimate, and humanity-wide
mhm,
simultaneously because, you know, even if you're not the kind of person that likes to read the news and, and good for you, detox from all of that, that's fine. But somewhere everyone has a concern and a deep yearning to have a more harmonious world. Everybody has that. There's nothing that can happen anywhere on this planet that doesn't end up, you know, boom, 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 boom. It comes to our house at home,
yes,
our children. It always does with that interlinked. That's obvious by now. So of course we're concerned about what's it's not just how I'm growing and how you're growing and my partner and my kids and whatever. How is society evolving?
yes,
And this helps us to I just said I wasn't going to go into that. It helps us with that very, very much too, which takes you from a deep sense of powerlessness about, oh my God, the world is just irreparable and it's always like violent and whatever, from a deep sense of personal powerlessness and shrugging the shoulders and resignation and, what can I possibly do? I'm one person, into a sense of very potent, you realize that you're incredibly powerful because the way that you can make transformational differences to your community, society, and world is, and the map shows you every word, every gesture that makes life better for children has ripples that you'll never ever even get to see, but with an enormous potency. That's how we have always changed societies. I'm a huge reader of history and anthropology. We've been changing our societies all along. That's the only thing that society does, is to change and transform. We've always been doing that through the way that we do childhood. This is a map for that. So
yes,
you can use this socio-politically in terms of your activism. There are such implications in terms of social policy, family policy, educational policy as well. So take it which way you want, and you take it either personal, civilizational, both.
yeah,
But you're never going to read the news. Once you do this course, you're never going to read the news with the same eyes anymore. You'll
yeah,
see a different thing underlying the crazy stuff that happens and the good stuff that happens.
yes. And when you have some antidotes in there, because that's what you brought, but the course. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm going to read the what the rites of passage
Mm.
are, and then we'll stop for this evening. But Robin, these are the list. The list. The right to exist, the right to have needs, the right to have support, the right to freedom, the right to passion, the right to playful learning and competency, and the right to an opinion, and the right to a vocation, and the right to sexual autonomy. That's all seventh rite of passage.
Mm.
And they have age brackets that we know, and they have indicators, and they have, like I said, these natural ways that we can get those needs met if we didn't get them met. And lots of the implications and descriptions. So please, I put the link underneath here so you all can have a look at it. And it's very reasonably priced, and it's all waiting there for you, a little treasure chest of wonder and medicine, good medicine, as they say, for our world and for you.
Can I just say briefly that I learned to call those passages, those 7 passages, with the word right, R-I-G-H-T, the right to, the right to all of those things, the right to freedom, the right to have needs, all of that. I learned that in my early training in somatic psychotherapy. That's where that comes from, and I find that very empowering and very uplifting. That they're called rights because human rights, basically, they're biological rights in the same way that we have a right to, clean water to drink, to clean, food and a balanced diet and fresh air to breathe. We don't get those rights met very well in much of the world, but it doesn't change. Knowing that that is your right gives you a sense of deservingness and a power, right? That we should have that. Our children should have that. There's an appropriate sense of should that comes with it.
Yes.
You don't have to say, please, may I, sir. It's like, I'm meant to have this.
You deserve this. Yes, this is your birthright. This is a normal, what all humans need, and a lot of us didn't get parts of it, so you can find your way into healing here.
No, I didn't. I go on and off, very on and off. However, knowing that when I'm hurting, it's because of a need that hasn't been met, means I'm no longer so embarrassed and ashamed and telling myself, don't be stupid, you shouldn't be in pain. It doesn't, it doesn't mean you come out of that blaming the world. It means you come out of that with more compassion for the world, because everyone's gone through a real mixed bag of, getting those needs met and not. Yeah,
we all have these bumps in the road.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for coming tonight, Robin, and we'll have you back. We'll have you back again. Maybe we'll do a series of talks about these rites of passage, because they're really important. Yeah.
Yeah. You know that I'm a bit of a sucker for your invitations to do these kinds of things. So anytime, you know where to find me.
Yes, I do. Yeah. All right. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Bye. So, wait a minute, because I thought I wanted to add a little something at the end, which is to give you a little bit of detail on what it is that's inside of these each of these developmental rites of passage, and why it's going to be so useful for you in your family life, personal life, relationship life, but also your work. Okay, so for each of the developmental rites of passage, the 7, here's what I go into. First of all, the unique and stage specific developmental needs that we all have on a psycho-neurological level. And you'll see that in every one of these developmental stages, the needs are quite different and quite stage specific. Now, this really helps you as a parent, as a grandparent, as a person as a school teacher, if you have children in your life in any form, to really understand the core developmental needs and how to meet those needs to the best of our ability as a village. Then you'll get to see what a massive difference it makes when when each of these specific developmental needs are met as we move from stage to stage. The strengths that we develop as a result of those needs being met sufficiently enough. By strengths, I mean emotional intelligences is another way to put it. Also, relational strengths for how to give, receive, have boundaries, assert ourselves, express our uniqueness and our creativity, etc. The fundamental core relational abilities that specifically come from each of these stage-specific needs being met. Then we go into understanding what happens to us when those specific needs are not met sufficiently or aren't met at all. In other words, the psychological, neuropsychological wounding. We go into understanding how that impacts us in terms of our adult behaviors, our way of perceiving the world around us and ourselves, behavioral, attitudinal. We look at then our adaptations, our defensive adaptations, these brilliant, skillful ways in which all human beings adapt to needs not being met. Evolution has made us quite brilliant at this. But then those adaptations that help us to move through, what cost does that come at as we grow into adulthood? So what is the legacy of those defensive adaptations to those specific wounds? And how does that affect then the way that we relate to ourselves, the way that we relate to each other, the way that we form group, organization, society? That starts to become incredibly useful for us as parents, but also as counselors, therapists. And then I pan out and look at a world view, a societal view, and that helps you to understand the part of you from the point of view of the part of you that might be kind of a social activist, really understanding group behavior, how societies unfold as a result of the way that children are being raised, which gives us great clues about what we need to do to help our societies to evolve into more harmonious and more ecologically intelligent and peaceful styles of society, this is the part where I find this the most exciting and the most nourishing and empowering. This is where I talk about the developmental nutrients. Now, I go very specifically into what are the developmental nutrients that help us to heal and move forward relative to specifically to the developmental needs that weren't met for us as individuals. Developmental nutrients, and how can we give those to ourselves? How can we share that with each other in a way that answers the call of the wounded inner child, metaphorically speaking, figuratively speaking? That's exciting. That provides the forward motion. That's what I think is the most powerful aspect of this as a therapy, as a counseling system, but also there's so many clues in this, so many indicators as social activists. What do we need to give to children en masse so that we help to create a different world? And what is our part in that? What is our role in that personally and together? That, I hope, gives you detail of the wonderful things that you're going to be learning about as you go deeper into this course with me. And I really look forward to hearing from you. I'd love to hear your comments once you've done the course, and comments and questions. Always welcome. Bye-bye.